Hello everybody, I'm going to give a talk today about slow speed riding. You've initially got to have your balance, of course. Things to take into consideration are going to be the lock on your bike, the steering lock. So for example, when your bars are turned fully left, the biting point of the clutch is going to feel differently to when the bars are turned fully right. Also a factor is going to be the type of gloves that you have on. So if you have some really big thick winter gloves on, the clutch will bite earlier than you anticipate because you've got the extra padding. And with summer gloves, of course, you'll get a better feel. Slow speed riding is not Moto Gymkhana. Those guys, when they throw the bikes around really quickly, they're brilliant, they are really good, but that isn't practical slow speed riding like you would in town when you're filtering. When you see these Moto Gymkhana guys, they're going quite quickly around corners and very low, but they have to have the speed to maintain it. So the more your bike leans, the faster you need to go to maintain that lean to keep the G-forces going through the bike. So the slower you go, the more upright you go. Okay, think of your clutch as 0 to 10. My arm is the clutch, 0 completely in, 10 completely out. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is just getting to your biting point or friction zone. 5, 6, 7 is where the clutch starts to slip. 8 is where it lunges and you get that ka-chug, ka-chug, ka-chug. And 9 and 10 is that little bit of free play at the end, just so that your clutch is correctly adjusted. So what we're going to be aiming on doing today is getting to 4, revs, or throttle, or gas. 5, 6, 7 to slip and start moving. Once you get to about 3 or 4 miles an hour, clutch in, a little bit of back brake if you need to slow down, and then clutch out. A little bit more, 5, 6, 7, back in, 5, 6, 7, back in. So what's going to be happening, that's my foot on the brake, that's my hand on the clutch. It's going to be go like that, and then in, slow down again, and then that. And you notice on my teaser upload that I was doing that. So when I wasn't using my clutch, the brake was going on to bring me down and steady me, and then the clutch, and then your brake. Your clutch will move you one way, and your brake will move you another. So, for example, on a right turn, the clutch will make me sit up because the power is wanting the bike to sit up, just like the counter steering upload. And then when I use the back brake, it throws me back over again. So it's going to be exaggerated, clutch, back brake, clutch, back brake. So I've brought this really down to a fine art where it's just a little bit of clutch, little bit of back brake, little bit of clutch, little bit of back brake. If you have a digital speedometer, the ideal speed to do things like U-turns is approximately 5 to 6 miles an hour. The speed to do something like a figure of 8, depending on the size you're going to be doing it, the perfect speed is around 7, 8 miles an hour. Because by doing that sort of speed, the gyroscopic effects of your wheels are going to be making your bike sit upright. The slower you go, the less pronounced that gyroscopic effect is, and then the more likely you are to drop and then need your balance. You could also use a little bit of body weight if you wanted to. Again, I'll demo that now. So, clutch is in, back brake, now I need more power, revs, clutch, back brake, revs, clutch, back brake, and then notice I'm using a little bit of steering and counter body weight as well, counter body weight. There we go, sorry about the sniffing. Cambers. Most people that I know drop a bike when they're coming up to a junction or they're turning on a camber. The problem with this is the road is like that and you automatically want to put your bike upright, but the problem is you're effectively leaning, so you need to be like that, and you need to understand and get used to the fact that the ground is going to be closer to you there than it is that side. The steeper the hill, the more upright you're going to be and the closer you are to that hill, and it goes the other way around as well. So that's something else to practice. Feel that balance point where your bike is still pointing up to the sky, whatever the camber is doing. And if you do feel yourself starting to drop on that camber, the only way you're going to get round that is by giving it some power, and that will keep you going through. Of course, if you're at a junction, there's a car coming, drop the bike. So regarding brakes, your front brake is a stopper, your back brake is a controller. So at slow speed, do not use your front brake. If you happen to put your foot down and want to stop, make sure your bars are straight before you put your front brake on. Otherwise you'll have that embarrassing and before you know it, you've dropped the bike. If you put your foot down, fine. Let's put your foot down to start with. If you want to hover your feet to start with, just don't stop. Most people I know that drop a bike have either tried to stop by putting the front brake on, or they've been going that slow on and off camber, they've started to lose the balance and just laid the bike down. So as long as you're travelling at least 4 miles an hour, the odds are on you won't drop the bike. Just carry on, pick a little bit of speed up, get your foot back on the pegs or your feet back on the pegs, and then recontrol yourself and then start again.
So again, I'm starting to drop, recognise that power. You have to think a couple of seconds ahead, otherwise what you'll do is you're going to be late, you'll do that. But again, fine, do that. Just walk with it, that's all good. Until you're happy, then you can pick your feet back up again.
I've been criticised in the past by people telling me that I should be telling people to look where they're going. I understand that, but it depends on how fast you're going. So from one extreme, on my teaser, I'm actually looking straight down at the floor there so I can get a reference between the still bike and the moving floor. When you go faster, of course, you need to start looking further around to where you want your front wheel to be. One extreme, of course, is my slow speed, where I'm looking there. The faster you go, the more you pick up for a U-turn, you're going to be looking around the corner to where you want the front wheel to end. And then 100 miles an hour on a racetrack, you're looking even further around the bend to where you want the front wheel to be, opening your peripheral vision up. This is why we look where we want to go. I ended up in a field on a Fireblade in '93 because I looked at the field thinking I was going too fast, and that's where I went. We'll do a lesson on target fixation another time, but I don't have the video of the crash. Tyres. The circumference of your tyre, the circumference of this, is going to be bigger than the circumference of this. So if you're going very, very slowly and just turning like that, it's going to take longer to go around than when you lean the bike and go on the inside of the tyre, which means you'll turn tighter. Look at the Moto Gymkhana guys. They're going at such an angle that they're turning ever so tightly. If they were to keep upright and just turn like this, it will take longer. I'll demo that now for you.
Right, let's go as slow as I can. Now we're going down the hill on this one. So now I'm just looking down there, a little bit of power there. I started to lose it, so I would have put my foot down if I hadn't given it power. A bit of clutch, you see. Power brings me up, back brake brings me in. That's it. Power again. So that's how much tighter you can turn.
We're going to just do the slalom, in and out of cones, giving the bike a nice steady weaving pace, looking at the gaps between the cones, not the cones themselves. Remember what I said about the target fixation. Look where you want to go. So look at the gaps, not the cones.
Okay, speed here. I'm doing 6, clutch in. I'm going slightly up a hill here so I can just use the clutch as I need to. Look around. A little bit of back brake, bringing it down to about 5 miles an hour. Look at the gap and lean. Look and lean. Look and lean. Look and lean.
Some things that I personally don't like. Now this is probably going to be quite controversial here. I don't like using the back brake as a throttle. I'll give you an example of the dragging the rear brake. Because if you set your clutch friction zone in the wrong place, then you're going to let go of your back brake and the bike will probably lunge. Added to the fact you could burn your clutch, you could also overheat your disc and your brake fluid. So I personally don't like this one unless you're a really, really, really experienced rider. But there is still a limited amount of time you can do this before it burns out.
So let me give you an exaggerated version of this using your back brake as a throttle. It's quite easy to get that wrong. See, all you're going to do is just burn your clutch out.
The speed to do something like a figure of 8, depending on the size you're going to be doing it, the perfect speed is around 7-8 miles an hour. Because by doing that sort of speed, the gyroscopic effects of your wheels are going to be making your bike sit upright. The slower you go, the less pronounced that gyroscopic effect is, and then the more likely you are to drop and then need your balance.
See, now I'm not actually using my back brake at all. As long as you're using the right sort of speed and you keep it moving, it's not quite so bad. It's just about giving it the power. Because obviously on the left now I'll be completely screwed. Not even using my back brake. It's all about keeping it going. Now around here, if I slow down, I've dropped it. Look around where you want to go. Bit of power. And then around on the inside. Bring it down again. And again, as soon as I start to drop, I'm going to power it. So I'll demonstrate this now. I'm going to drop. There. Power. Revs first. Drop. Power. Feel it starting to drop and arrest that by revs first. So here we go. Revs. Power until I sit back up again. Now I can use a bit of back brake. So again, I'm starting to drop. Recognise that. Power. You have to think a couple of seconds ahead. Otherwise, what you'll do is you're going to be late. You'll do that. But again, fine. Do that. Just walk with it. That's all good. Until you're happy, then you can pick your feet back up again. Now let's show you from a distance how slow I can ride. All I'm doing is there. Did you see that? I started to lose it, so a little bit of power got me going again and back onto my balance. I'm looking approximately a metre in front of me, and again it started to drop, so I powered it. Power picks you up, back brake drops you. Again, power. There we go, my fan's kicked in now. But if you do feel your fan kick in or the biting point starts to change on your clutch, that's because it's overheating. So stop, pop it into neutral and give it a rest for 10-15 minutes to let everything cool down a little bit. So there we go, the slow speed control. Remember, it takes a lot of practice. The faster you go, the more you need to look up and around where you want to go. Look where you want the front wheel to be. Clutch to go, brake to slow. Every time you use your clutch, it'll sit the bike up. When you use your brake, it'll throw you back over. So you have actually got control over the direction that your bike goes in.
Your homework is find that friction zone correctly. Use your brake to slow, your clutch to go. Bring your speed down to approximately 4-5 miles an hour in a straight line. When doing a U-turn, 5 or 6, doing a figure of 8, approximately 7 or 8 miles an hour. Remember, if your foot goes down, do not stop. Get a little bit of power on so you can pick your bike back up again, reset, and then continue.
I'll be doing a review on this soon, so watch this space. Feel free to share, comment. Let me know how you go on with the practice. And I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.